Panda. I am joined by Aeon tonight, and this is a beautiful evening for another installment of Broadcast.gg Scrim Nights between Illuzion and Nolan Slipper. Aeon, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. I am very excited to watch this game go underway in this best-of-5 set using the Open Division rules. What do you think we're going to see from these two teams?
Well, all things considering, I mean, the Overwatch League going on in the new meta, kind of brick house stampeding its way into its upper echelons of years of Overwatch as it is. I mean, you don't really know what these teams are going to end up pulling out. Dive can still end up being a thorn in a certain team's side if high ground is the juicy advantage decision that most teams like to have, but I don't know. Could see some Brigitte coming out of here. Nolan Slippers in particular is a team that has listed a couple years around that competition. You want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so we've got Cameron OP as the captain and main tank of the team. He's going to be playing Reinhardt. He's going to be backed up by Weedlord 420 on the Brigitte and the BCJ as Zarya. They're going to be moving up in one big death ball, making space for Spoon to get the Hanzo damage in, as well as Yang Xiaolong healing the team with her Mercy in the back. We're also going to have Nolan of Nolan Slippers playing the Zenyatta, because in this meta, Trance is so important because it's going to be a lot of Zaryas grabbing each other's teams, because that's the only thing with a Dragon Strike that can get the armor down from Brigitte's ultimate.
Yeah, absolutely, and definitely well said. I mean, part of the entire chess game of Overwatch right now is around Brigitte, both the president slot and how the heck do you just deal with her, and that is certainly one way of dealing with her. Their competitors tonight, Nolan and his Slippers and his friends on Nolan Slippers, are Illuzion, team we've seen across with these Scrim Nights across the past couple months, led by Strafology. Prefers to play Lucio. Probably been playing that hero for a couple metas now. I mean, the speed is always nice to have on your team with the communication across the board. Combining the ultimates will be combined in the back line with Cinnamon Bot. Prefers to play Brigitte as well. So two heroes that definitely work in tangent with one another. Pretty interested to see if you know how it's gonna end up working out. They're gonna end up pulling a third healer or maybe pull someone over on Zenyatta. You never really know. Zumba Roomba is on to protect said backline on McCree, with Party Boy in the sky on Pharah. Red X starting off the backline on Diva, looking for the dies with Jerry 23. Jerry himself not pulling out any memes. This team's been together for about a year, so they understand how to follow up on his big Goomba stomps in the dive itself. But the first map tonight is going to be Oasis. And Aeon, how do you think that's going to end up playing into the favor? Do you think the more heavily Brigitte composition heroes are going to be stomping out against the dive meta heroes, or how do you think Oasis will pan out?
We're going into Oasis, and the answer to that question depends a lot on the map. If we're going to the university, it's definitely Death Ball. If we're going to the map with a launch pad, we're going to have Dive. And if we're going to go to the gardens, that's definitely one that could go either way. You have the big choke points in the middle, but you also have the verticality that you can defend from or dive and have the Pharah come in and around. So it really comes down to the maps. But I think overall, it's probably going to be more favored towards Dive.
Dive itself is, you know, you still see a lot of teams. I mean, if you're following up on Broadcast.gg, and if you're not, definitely give us a follow there on Twitter, so you can follow up on our coverage of Open Division. And when Brigitte was introduced to Open Division, Dive was still seen across the board in some of those matches, and it's still really prevalent. I mean, if you can find one hero, a squishy target, if you will, like a Zenyatta, very key target to take out Discord Orb, is not something you want on yourself if you are Winston. But if you can eradicate that Omnic Monk from the backline very quickly, that's what Dive is really good for.
That being said, Brigitte is the new hero that everyone's talking about, and she shuts down Dive really quickly if you are in the unfortunate area next to her and her shield bash. So that can really deter that kind of situation. We are going to start, though, as two death balls on the university.
Yeah, and University is one of those maps, like you were mentioning earlier before we started off here on University, that if we ended up seeing here, this could be the heavy shield composition, that Mack Truck style of the Brigitte composition that we know and love in the current meta state, backed up by the BG BCJ on Hanzo as well, but they're not pulling out of Brigitte so far. Might be an accompaniment to this DPS who's filling over to. Oh, nope, there it is. Spoon coming out on the Brigitte. Almost a mirror composition style, but Zumba Roomba making an appearance on Moira. So stack healing on the board for Illusions.
Well, not only is the Moira different, but also Strafology's on the Lucio, so they're not going to have a Transcendence if it gets to that situation.
Absolutely.
But the fight is coming off. Cameron OP is so low that Shield Bash took his shield down, and now he's down, but Cinnamon and Party Boy went down as well. So numbers-wise, Team Nolan Slippers are ahead, especially with that Resurrect onto Cameron OP. They're going to take this point pretty quickly.
Yeah, and that free resurrection, nobody punishing Yang Xiaolong in the back line. And although they did have the frontline pressure, I believe that it was Red X and Jerry still alive. No, Cinnamon Bot did get caught off early on, but they did have a frontline, so they were. I'm sure that the opportunity was there to punish Yang, but as soon as they lost Cinnamon Bot, who fell early to Spoon, you can see the old charge already paying dividends, being 50 from Cinnamon versus Spoon, so that rally will be there momentarily. The re-engagement will be here.
BCJ is already using Dragon Strike, and Cinnamon Bot's down already. Spoon goes down as well, both Rookie are down, but Red X goes down to another arrow. BCJ's having a field day right now. He's in an area where he can't really get hit, and an Earth Shatter came down to boot. The ultimate economy, the targeting, Nolan Slippers are really just running away with this first point so far.
They were happy
deep dive.
Yeah, they were really happy to take that fight. It was exactly where the Earth Shatter was stuck. Jerry 23 being a little bit more advantageous than most. Reinhardt's getting nothing but shield from Cameron OP. Definitely the shield up, and then knocking 4 down on the ground with his own Earth Shatter as well. The rally's going to get a lot of armor on the sustain for Nolan Slippers. That's a big grab.
Lucio barriers are going to keep alive, though. No one's going to die. Jerry does go down eventually, but Coalescence is going to come out maybe a little late, but it is going to keep the rest of their team alive. And combo into a grab, except an Earth Shatter got 3. So there's no follow-up on that grab, not to mention Nolan's Transcendence kept everyone even healthier. And now they're going to start pushing out even further. Red X is going to take down Cameron OP, but he's going to get res for free. Yang Xiaolong sneaks in that Resurrect, and she survives. Spoon is going to go down, but this fight is in the choke point where it favors the defending team. That being said, Party Boy is getting a couple picks of his own. And now Nolan Slippers do have to back up. And if they're not careful, they're going to lose the point now. Yang Xiaolong does use Valkyrie, but it might be too late as it's only her, Nolan, and Weedlord. And now with Weedlord dead, Yang Xiaolong just has to stall.
And that's all on that Valkyrie state. A little bit easier said than done. Will go over momentarily. A lot of big brawls coming out there. Graviton Surge is using across the board for Red X and Weedlord. Red X will have a Graviton Surge here momentarily to match Weedlord, but they have the Covenant, a Galactic Dragon combo, and they just have to walk in and decimate one more time. And Strafology, who took that late swap on his Zenyatta, not going to have Transcendence for this fight. The Earthshatter is going to get stuffed once again, and now they're looking for the the Dragon Strike is going to come out. It's going to get some kills off, but with the rest of the
misses
team,
the grab, or maybe the grab missed. But yeah, that combo didn't happen, and we did lose a bunch of people from both sides, and now it's kind of like a scrappy 4v4. Meanwhile, Nolan Slippers are trying to figure a way to break onto this point while the Ryan is still on it. Now, reinforcements from both teams have arrived. Jerry gets knocked back, and now he's down, and there's no mercy to resurrect him. So now, Nolan Slippers are just asserting point presence, making the other team come into them.
Yeah, and this is the thing about a heavy shield composition. You want to try to create space, but you're happy to have free space. So that way a lot of cleave damage in between Brigitte and Reinhardt can do what they need to do. So that way a Storm Hanzo in the backline like the BGCJ can just land a whole bunch of shots over and over again. He already has another Dragon Strike. The point is already going to come over here, Aeon. Graviton Surge and Dragon Strike just for funsies at the end. I'm sorry, not the Graviton Surge, but
the Dragon Strike just for celebration. Strafology ended up transing to the point, but too little, too late. And now we're going to move on to the next point.
Going down 1-0 in the series. Illusions probably scratching their head a little bit. All things considering, Spoon is filling in on that Covenant Brigitte role and making presence known. Going hand in hand with Cameron OP. I mean, we know Reinhardt and Brigitte, both lore and in current meta, work very well together. Cleave damage is a factoid, and when you get healed without having your shield up, that's a pretty nice place to be as well.
So now we're in the gardens, and earlier I said that dive would probably be better overall, but the fact that we went to university and now this map, I'm gonna have to give the edge to Death Ball. This might be the last map if Nolan Slippers continue playing this Death Ball as well as they have been. Though they are not running a Pharah, meanwhile a Party Boy is the Pharah accompanied by Strafology's Mercy. So if there's a time for Illuzion to use their Death Ball dive comp with the Pharah, this is the time to get a comeback. And it's going to start with Spoon going down. Jerry takes that, and ooh, Rez does come out onto Spoon, but Yang Xiaolong trades her life for it. But now there's a Hanzo. BCJ is again just causing so much trouble. Headshot after Storm Arrow. What might have been a fight for Illuzion is looking more likely for Nolan Slippers, although the comeback around the choke point is actually going to trade places. And now it's just Red X on the point. That was such a smart reversal, using the gateway as cover.
Yo, I second that Party Boy was getting a little bit too close to comfort. That's where Storm Arrow is best peeked out. See the BCJ using Storm Arrow to its full capability, landing a whole bunch of headshots over and over again. One body shots, regardless of the fact, it's going to have the Dragon Strike well before Weed Lord will have the Graviton Surge. Probably going to hold on to it until a combo is available, but they got to be careful.
Party Boy does have Rocket Barrage.
Exactly, has a fair barrage, so they're probably going to try to intro the next team fight off of that.
Here comes both Shatter and Dragon. Shatter doesn't get much, but the Dragons certainly do. That's going to clean up the team. Red X ends up rocketing herself to get the reset, and now it's just a Far Mercy. This is not the time or place to use this barrage.
Taking the team wipe, they didn't even need the Graviton Surge towards the group hug and the Galactic Dragon, and that's perfect. I think considering that Nolan Slippers will have the Forget the Ultimate rallies use across the board, so over healing to armor will be relevant. Strafology will have the Valkyrie Ultimate, so over sustainability will be applicable for Party Boy's Fair Barrage. Let's see if he pulls it out.
Oh, now Yang Xiaolong has been spotted out at the beginning of this fight, but the BCJ kills the Pharah, stuck in that bit. And now here's the grab. It's got a bunch picked up, but Warrior's Coalescence is keeping everyone healed, as well as Strafology's Valkyrie using both ults. Maybe isn't always a good thing, but it does keep the team alive, except Jerry does go down in the end. And now the Nolan Valk is out. They might be looking to hold this even longer. And now Yang has her gun out, just trying to get Strafology, but didn't turn around fast enough to heal the members that were caught to a grab, and Party Boy just ripped them apart.
Big group hug coming out from the side of Red X. Two couple along with Party Boy. They lingered along, lagged a little bit, gave 92% in total over the control meter for the side of Nolan Slipper, and they're pretty happy, all things considering what Weed Lord will be working towards. Another Graviton Surge. BCJ, though before got a couple kills without it, they're gonna be able to get overbuffed into armor momentarily off of Spoon's Forget Ultimate of Rally, but it's Cinnamon Bots that gets popped first.
Yep, oh no, Cameron. OP ended up getting booped off. Now this is kind of, maybe not a lost fight, but it's definitely an uphill battle for Nolan's Slippers, as they're kind of just trying to live and get out with their lives. They don't want to give any more ult charge than they need to. Still coming up on that Graviton, and again, no Zenyatta on side of Illuzion. So as long as they get that combo working, they should, if they get a good grab, pick up this point.
Yep, and they got that one fellow swoop of a combination coming through. Galactic Dragon is the name of the game, and that's exactly what they're going to look for. You see, walking straight in, it's going to be 3 on the inside of the Graviton Surge, and that's more than enough kills that you need. 2.5 tanks down. Fantastic stuff coming out from the Hanzo of BCJ.
And then a pickup shatter onto the Moira. Party Boy gets a couple kills, but Strafology is the only one left. This is going to be a flip, and not a lot of time to contest, only 8%. For the rest of Illuzion to get there. Reinhardt might be able to charge onto the point, but this is not a situation you want to be in, trickling on as fast as you can. Cinnamon Bot goes down already, and now the BCJ has Moira in his sights. Earthshare does come out, and they might be able to pick up a couple kills off it, but it doesn't seem like it. Both Valks are online. The Mercy's flying around like some kind of mating dance. Weed Lord 420 is going to get healed up, but his grab's already been used, so he doesn't have that as an option. And really, no one's dying due to the sustainability. In fact, the BCJ got brought back up in that fight, but Weed Lord got booped off thanks to a concussive blast, so this might be a retake for Illuzion if they can get a couple more picks. Unfortunately, Jerry is very low, and he got stuck, so he's going to go down, so is Red X. And it might just be some pickup for Nolan Slippers. Zunba Roomba found himself being 1v2'd, but Strafology is going to get a free res on Red X, who has grab. That's huge. There might not be a combo to use it, but this is still big, and now Party Boy has ult, so this is the combo. That's absolutely massive, being rezzed and being able to grab.
Yep, being able to stall enough time so that way you can see what's happening right on your screen here with the replay. The Fair Barrage into Graviton Surge. Been the play ever since the day of Overwatch has been dawned upon us with these two heroes in particular. Cameron OP though took the swap on to Tracer, had enough time to both proc on fire and get another pulse bomb off. Gonna stick on it too, coming up on top of Zumba Roomba as well. This main tank is going huge.
Yeah, and Zumba Roomba on Tracer, not a healer, so that's gonna not only be no healing, but also no damage, though she does get a res for free. But the Strafology goes down next. Seems whenever Strafology gets a cheeky res, he does get punished. Now this Coalescence with the grab is going to push the rest of Illuzion around and able to get picked off. 99% to 99%, but there's no one left alive except for Red X, who's getting picked off in the basement. And that's going to be a 2-0 against Illuzion.
Yep, 2-0, and Illusion's probably still scratching their head, especially after losing University. Though on the side of Nolan Slippers, still looking pretty fantastic. I'm chuckling because Cameron OP, I was still remembering all that fantastic trades, but you almost forget that he did so much work as Reinhardt as well on the 1v1s. Reinhardt battle being very, very hard to win, but never in the end. Frontline space is always nice to have, so that way your DPS can do what they need to do. And the BCJ on Hanzo really highlighted that factor. Without grabs and dragon strikes, arrows combined, still finding the kills.
Absolutely. The tanks made so much space for him that he really just had free range. There was no way for the Deathball DPS of Illuzion to go up and take him down because the barriers, the shield bashes, the flails, there was no way unless they were going to counter snipe him, which they never really attempted. So they ended up losing the fights really down to the fact that Nolan Slipper's DPS was more vertical and just had more options.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And verticality is definitely a benefactor. You know, we were talking about dive and why a lot of people enjoy dive as part of the high ground. But one thing that we have been learning over time with the new Geta meta, I guess you could call it, as it's been coming in, is that Pharaoh is always really nice to have, both so that you keep a Mercy alive a little bit further, but that way you can spread rockets into the backline. It just becomes a little bit harder when you have to get closer to land those rockets and you're in the no-fly zone of the BCJ. And we're going to end up moving towards the next map. We're going to have Spoon ended up taking he's back inside the silverware drawer at the moment. We're going to have Hala 555 come in on Nolan Slipper as well. So going up 1-0 in the series, what do you think Illuzions needs to do to come back in whichever map it is?
Well, the next map we're going is Escort. So I think if they focus on hunkering down and having big tanks on the payload with that kind of versatile DPS like a Hanzo or maybe a McCree like they played earlier, I think they'll be able to hold their space. They just need to make sure that Nolan Slipper's DPS isn't running over them. They just need some way to fight that back while also fighting the land war between the two tanks.
Yeah, it's sometimes a little bit easier said than done.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you know, when you have that frontline pressure, it's becomes a little bit more difficult to remember what's going on in your backline. That's sometimes where you can sneak in a little bit of cheeky play. That's where Cameron really came up top. I mean, charging that pulse bomb very quickly towards the end, finding the openings for Illuzions. And Illuzions are going to go ahead and choose Junkertown. So a little bit more spacious. I think that definitely plays more into the heavy shielding composition. But one thing we didn't get to see on University and Gardens, because, you know, a sniper rifle wasn't exactly, you know, the most prevalent choice of weapon when you're going into that map in particular, is Widowmaker. Do you think we're going to see one of these teams pull out a Widowmaker here?
Oh, absolutely. I'm expecting both Widowmakers and Hanzos from both teams, at least on attack or defense. I think this at least the first phase, there's so much room, like you said, for the snipers to get around. Barriers can go up and block shots, but if the Widow gets behind you, which they can do by just walking around the grass. They can get good views, and you can kind of cross-section off a lot of area with multiple snipers, or at least just one. Moving into the second phase, I think it's less likely we'll see a Widow. We'll probably see Hanzo still. And then the third phase, we'll probably see more snipers. It's definitely a more sniper-oriented map than we've been on before.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, space is one of the most unfortunate parts, and sometimes, depending on your situation for Junkertown, is the more benefactoids. A lot of teams prefer in that situation to try to run the sailboat strategy, so that way they can comfortably ride their way, no pun intended, down the sand dunes of Junkertown to Point C, where they find a little bit more comfort and the dive style, a little bit easier for those dive meta heroes to make a presence on that third point. But tanks, again, is the name of the game. That seems to be, as you can see, the defense team of Illusions. They're setting up here. And that Party Boy on Junkrat with Zumba Roomba on Bracer this time around. Strafology will be on the Moira. So they're going for this ball and chain. A lot of good burst potential, shield bursts, and breakdown potential coming out. But you can see they're playing so cheekfully forward. They're going to try to make a drop down the second that the spawn doors open and catch them all by surprise. And the BCJ is not going to be ready for it. Going to have to stunt down very, very quickly.
They didn't even wait for them to set up. They're fighting at the spawn doors. Usually teams wait until the attacking team is on the payload, but Illusion has no time for that, and it's really biting them more than anything else. Nolan Slippers are just ripping through them. Because they didn't wait for optimal positioning, Bastion was able to just set back in spawn. The BCJ had the protection of the spawn doors, which meant that Nolan Slippers had really good positioning as opposed to Illusion just being out in the open.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's not what you want to be, especially Nolan Slippers. They came out on top of that engagement as well. And when the ball and chain hook combination is supposed to come through against for the defense, they're supposed to come up on top, so that way you can gain a certain amount of ult charge. But when the sailboat still gets set up, and the BCJ is already 80% towards the tank configurations, it's kind of difficult. You see Zumba already swapping on the Widowmaker, trying to find a pick and two. There's a lot of shields to get through.
Yep, but Party Boy is coming down, doing a lot of damage. And he spotted Yang Xiaolong, but she's going to get away. Actually, no, she's going to get chased into Zumba Room with snipers. And a big tire is going to get a triple kill. The BCJ is going to use tank ult, probably just to get ready for a switch. It's really hard to reset up a Bastion once you've lost that positioning. So now we're seeing Illusion actually get some ground to defend.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, Party Boy absolutely needed to go huge with that rip tire, did exactly what Junkrats intend to do here on Junkertown, and that's to make everything come up all explodey, and it's gonna set them up pretty nicely. Zumba Roomba will have the infrared sight momentarily, so they'll be able to come up on top of the Widow v Widow battle. The BCJ will swap off Bastion onto Widow himself, but Hala will have that. Oh, wow, I'm sorry, I was taken by this flanking Cameron coming around the backside for the Earthshatter. Found absolutely nothing but a couple of headshots on the other side from Zumba Roomba. Fantastic.
Yeah, without any ults, Zumba Roomba and the rest of Illusion ended up winning that fight. The ults were so stacked. It was 4 ults on side of Nolan Slippers, but despite good mechanics and not dying, Illusion held this using nothing but infra sight.
Just using infrared sight, I mean, we know it doesn't do any damage whatsoever, Aeon, but it gives you the keynote of gold. That is Overwatch information, knowing where your enemy team is coming from. Armor can only do so much in that sense, and you can see Nolan, the pressure's still there, having to pop away with the Transcendence as well, just to keep his team alive, and he's not going to be able to keep Camera alive versus the Junkrat, though.
Now there's the Coalescence as well, and a Tire's going to get shot down, but still the defense is holding with this ball and chain, literally with the supercharger. But Cameron OP ended up getting rezzed, but just to die again, and that's a lot of ult charge that you don't want to give like that. That's 500 health that's going to go right back into Illusion's ult pockets.
Well, luckily, with the Bongo supercharger down, no ultimate charge will go to Jerry, who is landing so much damage. A lot to his own Bongo supercharger, does so much segue damage for Party Boy on that Junkrat, 30% off of said Bongo supercharger. Cinnamon Bot still sitting comfortably with the Transcendence as well. So they're going to have that burst of healing. But look at Zumba so cocky of this sniper player of the side of Illuzion, just playing down the main foyer, finding the Omnic Monk of Nolan.
Yeah, but now this is the last fight, 20 seconds left, and no ults on side of Nolan Slippers. Cameron OP is close to a shatter. He's going to get it here, but he needs it to be huge if they're going to get anything. And I would say that's pretty huge, but he missed the charge. Transcendence came out, and Zumba got 3 headshots.
Back to back. Yeah, I mean that fourth body shot, you know, it's not flashy.
All right,
when
let's
you don't
make it
click
5.
on the head. It doesn't even matter. You know, you don't have to click on the head. They're discorded. You might as well get the kill. Zumba with the 5K at the end. The 5K of the the final blows. We know Elam's in Overwatch. As long as your team is working together, you will end up picking up on that. But Illusions with a full hold. Point A, Junkertown. Looking pretty damn good at that, Aeon. What did the attacking team do so wrong? Unfortunately, they came out so strong, shutting down the cheese defense of Illusions, but Nolan Slipper, they slipped up on the capture point and fell short.
Yeah, no kidding. Their Bastion went all the way in their first push to the gate, but they weren't able to close that out. I think some of it came down to some cheeky plays that didn't end up working out. Cameron OP ended up using Earth Shatter and not getting anything from it. That, as well as the fact that this is another situation, but flipped, where the DPS isn't being attended to. The Widowmaker on the side of Illusion, Zumba just got shot after shot after shot, and there was no one ever going for her, despite the fact that there was a Widow on the side of Nolan Slippers. It wasn't really a fight. It wasn't a Widow 1v1. It was Zumba versus the entire team of Nolan's Slippers. So they needed some way to counteract that, because it was just so oppressive.
So oppressive indeed. The BCJ taking that spot on a Widowmaker off the Bastion, maybe a moment's too late, and fell short ever so slightly. I mean, we saw Zumba already have the infrared sight. Slightly would be an under-exaggeration to the timing of the BCJ. Where the payload is on the golden checkbox of victory is how far the sailboat actually made it, because Party Boy's presence and shield burst damage from the Junkrat was just too much. And I like what they're coming out on attack. They're going to try a sailboat style themselves. But Party Boy's coming out on the Storm Hanzo 2.0 versus the standard composition of the Mercy Zenyatta with Hala on the Brigitte. So a lot of frontline sustainability is available for Nolan Slippers, but they have to be careful, because if they lose a team fight or two, that's going to go ahead and beat the map.
Yeah, I do like Party Boy on the Hanzo though. Oh, but he's gone. Cameron OP with a cheeky charge is going to get him. Zumba's going to go down as well. This was such a sneaky and clean fight from Nolan Slippers that I didn't expect it, and clearly neither did Illusion. That was such a smart move that just obliterated all her presence on the payload.
Reinhardt with the cheeky slide up to the side, up from the Mega Health Pack, ending up going and stop the sailboat himself. The Zumba will stay on the Bastion. Illusions will go ahead and decide the payload is close enough so that they can set up the sails once again. So they're going to go ahead and get the free card to do so. Cameron giving them all the space to do so. Zumba already, and the Earth Shatter's coming through. Is going to find 2, but he will pay for it.
But Cameron's going to go down. Nolan gets brought back up. That's going to even things out a little bit, but with no shield tank against a Bastion, this is really bad news for Nolan Slippers. Red X gets another kill. He's taken both supports out this one fight, and now the payload's just moving forward. And just now Zumba got set up, so they weren't even using a Bastion up until this point. And now it's just going to be cleanup. It's going to be really hard for Nolan Slippers to get the positioning to retake, especially with Weedlord 420 going down so late. This is going to be a nigh unstoppable payload unless some miracle happens.
Cameron's gonna have to try to just get a charge onto the point. It's coming through. The Dragon Strike's gonna give them the availability. No one's gonna be able to get to the point. The halt came through from the side of Jerry and stopped the charge from Cameron, so nobody was able to get to the point by way of cooldown. Very unfortunate stuff.
Zumba is going to get play of the game with that triple headshot. It was absolutely brutal. And then just a couple more to clean up the fight.
Back to back. And that's going to be a very impressive Junkertown. Very quick Junkertown. I think we didn't even get to see point B and point C as well. Cameron looking pretty darn good on that Reinhardt against a sailboat as well. Did get that wet noodle status versus versus the Bastion of Zumba getting set up. Found a good shatter, but no follow-up. 1-1 in the series, Aeon, and we're looking good going into the next.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect going on to Game 3 because we saw an Oasis. That was Nolan Slipper's map, especially because it was more Deathball oriented than other maps. And even though Illuzion got the point a couple times, it only ever went up to around 50% before Nolan's took it back and finished it. But then Junkertown, it wasn't even a fight. Illuzion just owned that map. They never had to move past that first phase because they just obliterated the defense and the offense of Nolan Slippers. That might be because Junkertown has a stranger meta than most maps. It's really just an oddball. Like the fact that you can run 2 snipers in a Bastion with Orisa, Reinhardt, that might be what caused a wrench to be thrown in Nolan Slipper's plans. So maybe going into Game 3 on a more standard map, we'll see something different.
More standard map might not be the case. I believe that it will be Assault, will be the next game variant of our Open Division map pool style. It's going to be Nolan Slippers that will get the choice of said map. They're having a little bit of technical difficulties in the end. So I guess we can talk about a little bit about the Assault map lifestyle and Assault itself. I mean, 2CP LOL is everybody's personal favorite, Aeon. I mean, it's my personal favorite. Everybody loves dealing with that last point B. You think Brigitte is going to make a certain presence known on whichever map? We'll see.
I absolutely think we do. Brigitte is so good at choke points, giving armor to everyone, healing everyone with her aura. So that's going to help out a lot. When you said that 2CP was your favorite, you're going to be the only one because both Illuzion and Nolan Slippers marked down 2CP as their least favorite mode. I know you were being facetious, but they went out of their way to say how much they hate it, especially Hanamura.
Such a fun map, though, man. I love the game variant. Like, everybody is probably thinking I'm sitting here with a giant kappa on my face, but I'm not. I mean, like, it's the beautiful part about Overwatch is everyone working in tangent with each other, tanks, supports, DPS, and that's really how point B sustainability is created for the attacking team to keep your supports alive so that way you can make it all the way until the very end of that last tick. But Nolan Slippers, they're going to go ahead and stick tried and true. They're feeling the slipper method themselves, Aeon. We're going to full sky. They're feeling cold. I want to see if they're going to give their opponents the cold shoulder and move back up in the series.
Yeah, this, I would say, out of the 2CPs, is the most even as far as the fight between Deathball and Dive go. The verticality on the first phase really makes it so if you wanted to, you could run Dive. If there's healers like an Ana, or maybe even a soldier on the back high ground, you can dive them, you can find the Zenyatta. Otherwise, Deathball is very solid at holding the choke and breaking through the choke. So it really, I think, depends on what each team want to run, but it does look like Nolan Slippers is going to be running the Deathball as per usual with a Far Mercy, which is interesting given the verticality.
Oh, absolutely. And for the defending team, that's that verticality is something you want to try to defend, but at the end of the day, you need to set up on the point. I think Illusions understands that. Jerry23, Red X, they're going to come out with that ball and chain combination that we just previously saw on Junkertown and Aeon. I think I do like to see it, though Reinhardt himself has a close place in my heart. Orisa is a little bit better in the Brig meta, you know, that stun block to the harden ability that she has on her shift key is really nice when you're facing a stun block devil like Brigitte. Hala is definitely going to stay on that hero, it seems, all the way through the Scrim night, unless otherwise noted to change off. But for the attacking team, I wonder, Nolan, triple support, Ana, very interesting. Sticking on it, though.
It's a little bit low damage, but I think it's definitely possible. They can, especially with the Pharah, go up and over and do the damage as long as they're getting damage boosted. But Weedlord is already going to take a couple shots.
Yeah, Pharah is so good at creating that space early on. I mean, once you see that Pharah come through and you're just like, oh, crud, we don't have any hits kind of deal with this. And that's exactly what's going to happen for Brigitte herself. Not exactly in any flail space to get any healing off.
Cameron OP went way in the back, took down a Zenyatta. And now we've got a very high-charged BCJ walking in. This death ball's just going to roll over onto the point. Weedlord went down, but got resurrected, so Nolan Slippers are down 0. And with a punch, BCJ is going to finish off Jerry. And this is going to be, as their death ball has been, a quick take. They're probably trying to tell us that Junkertown was a fluke. It's just a weird map. So they're going to win this one outright.
They're only going to have one member. Oh, there you go. You're going to have 3 members on the point so that they can capture it a little bit quicker. So you can see half the team wanting to already capture point B, but half the other team just trying to remind the other half of the team that you need to capture 1 point before you go for the second point. Cameron OP really cutting off the spacing for Illusions on that fight, getting a cheeky charge on the Zumba. Once that Zenyatta is dead, that is a 35% lack of damage on certain targets because of the Discord Orb. You can see snowball effect, or he's trying to come through. Cameron's already looking for an Earthshatter.
Yes, but he does get healed up even though shield is down, but now that Harden is down, Earthshatter's gonna come out and it's gonna get 3, and he's off the map without even getting a charge. Melk is gonna come out, but without a Reinhardt, especially without Weedlord, it might be too little too late. Due to some pretty grave errors, this is going to be an Illusion hold, especially with these dragons coming out.
Dragons will come through, but the real story of the day is Zumba creating a presence on the point, finding Hala's face amidst the flail action, but they're not on the point, so they're not gaining any sort of control meter so far, and that's a huge I mean, to a certain degree, they're dealing with the respawns before it even happens, but, you know, looking pretty good thus far. Trying to jump off the edge and just trying to, you know, I mean, hey, Aeon, if I'm speaking from the truth and I saw a Roadhog running towards me and an Omnic Monk that's just floating in the air shooting orbs of destruction at me, I'd want to jump off of you guys.
Oh yeah, no, I'm going swimming.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna get hypothermia over getting hooked any day.
No, absolutely. But you can go ahead and see Brigette's ultimate rally will get played through from Cinnamon Bot early on into the match. That's going to go ahead and set up Zumba even further to be a giant thorn in the side for Nolan Slipper. And that's a 350, 250 now got hit by the flame strike, but it's going to be inside
the barrage and the bottle. It's not actually going to anti-heal many people, and Weedlord is going to go down, get rest again. Supercharger is out. Red X takes down Cameron OP, and this is going to be another cleanup for Illusion. Poor Nolan's, they're using ults, but they're not really getting anything out of it. That was such a good combo, but the Biotic Grenade hadn't gotten past a Reese's barrier, so everyone still had the full healing of Transcendence.
Yeah, that might be the angle they're trying to go with Nolan on the Ana itself to get that over buff into the Graviton Surge to shut down a Transcendence as well, but you see a lot of teams get easy follow-up with Transcendence itself. I mean, it's only approximately 300 healing per second, so within its own self, with the damage boost and the nano, you put that on the Hanzo for the Dragon Strike, and that's more than enough damage over top of the Graviton Surge. Now the side of Nolan Slippers, they're falling themselves a little bit short. The Earth Shatter from Cameron is going to come down again, but no follow-up except for his own death.
It's going to get a lot, but he's not going to get anything off it. There's now a nano boost onto BCJ, but that's not going to get anything either. Maybe no one's trying to switch, but this fight seemed so half-hearted from Illusion. It didn't seem like they were actually trying to win. But Nolan's still on Ana, so I'm not sure. This obviously wasn't a dry run. They committed, so I'm not quite sure what they were aiming to get out of it. Now currently Illusion is going to take a Fire Strike and be forced to back up, but they're still looking pretty healthy with both support ults, almost 3 support ults, and Whole Hog. Meanwhile, we only have Valkyrie and a Graviton, and nothing to combo with.
Nothing to combo with as well, but we know Weedlord 420 is going to be trying to pick the trims of the enemy's heads and try to find that Dragon Strike, but it's not going to come down in time. The Graviton Surge from BCJ already came through.
Yep, but Earthshatter's up. Cameron OP got into the grab, did the damage, and now if he gets a good shatter, this could turn things around. He does get a shatter, gets one, and dies again. Every time he's hit Q, he's just died. Possibly because too many of his teammates had already died, or they're not in the right positions, but it's just very unfortunate for Nolan Slippers that they are having so much trouble breaking onto the second point.
And time and time again, you mentioned it, Cameron OP comes down for the Earth Shatter, hammered down, and Reinhardt is dead soon afterwards as well. Very unfortunate stuff, you know. As a main tank extraordinaire myself, I love Reinhardt, like I mentioned earlier. When you lose your Earth Shatter, that's a certain mental stability that you will lose, especially when you're not stuck in that 1v1 scenario against Jerry, who's doing a fantastic job on the Orisa for the defense, setting up Red X time and time again. And that space is being provided. Look at that Dragon Strike shutting down the space and finding a kill as well.
Yeah, it forced the team to either move forward or go back. And also the stun from Cinnamon Bot pushed Reinhardt back into the Dragons. So it just, again, shut down any of Nolan Slipper's chances. And now Cameron OP charged out, and he's kind of stuck out here now. Does look like Illuzion is going to back up, but this is a bad place for your shield to go down. You're not even at the choke point. Cameron OP does get sent back. Unfortunately, Yang Zhalong is going to go down low thanks to a Moira orb from Strafology. But now with 1 minute 40 seconds left, they only have a few more chances, probably around 4. But look at their war chest. They are missing 1 ultimate. If there was ever a time to take the point, it would be now. They have the damage to do it. They have the armor. They have Grav. They just need to make sure they all land up perfectly. Coalescence is going to make them fall back just a little bit, Supercharger as well, but if they wait these out, like they do now, this is now the time to go in. Unfortunately, only Cinnamon goes down to that Dragon. Somehow Grav didn't get enough people, despite the fact that everyone was around the Supercharger, and now Red X is pushing back, but he goes down thanks to the nano-boosted BCJ. If they can get picks fast enough, they can take this point. But now with Transcendence, it's not looking likely, as the reinforcements are going to come in and stop this fight. But Cameron OP gets another Earth Shatter, misses his charge again though. He is going to not take down Zumbaruba because of how much health he had due to armor. And while there's still some presence from Nolan Slippers, it's over.
Defense still holding strong, shoving it down to 38 seconds, 6 ultimates, walking away back, I'm sorry, respawning in the spawn room with 2. Gonna have Yang's Valkyrie ultimate. Weedlord, unfortunate to say, not gonna have an ultimate again to BCJ's Graviton Surge. And Zumbaroomba, the the Transcendence is down, so that it would have been free. And Party Boy does have his. So Dragon Strike for the defending team, definitely simple to do, as there's only so many spacings they can do. As you can see, they're just trying to come down the main, and they're already cut off. The Dragon Strike will go huge, doing so much damage to everyone behind a shield.
That was a great haul to pull people into the Dragons, but here is a huge Biotic Grenade, as well as a Nano Boost. Cameron up, he's swinging away, and if he swings a little bit more, he's going to have Earth Shatter. Jerry goes down, and maybe all hope is not lost, as the Shatter kills Cinnamon Bot, and now it's just to get this Roadhog. Red X is going to survive for a little bit longer, but here is where they can take it after all these pushes that didn't end up working out. If they can stop people from contesting, they can get this first tick and then move on, but Cameron OP is hacked, and now the dive is coming in to stall more than anything else, but it's working. Howling went down. Jerry, though, that tank presence is down. In comes Red X on the Diva. They need to be getting these picks faster than the respawns are coming in. Cameron OP does have Shatter again, though. So if things are lined up correctly, this could be big. Grav comes out, Shatter does as well, all into 1 poor Tracer. Party Boy gets obliterated, and now it's just Cinnamon Bot contesting, and they do end up taking point B.
Yep, and fantastic presence to keep Cameron alive, so that way he was not only able to land 1, but able to get a second Shatter on the second point, and the Slippers themselves able to get both points, even though it was overtime, able to get both points, still really good, because that's a win condition, and it is set for their defense. They just have to hold strong. We know most teams don't always look for the full hold on point A. It's point B where they need to stand strong. It's how much time they're willing to give away on their point A defense to set themselves up comfortably for their point B defense. But with the last attack, what was very unfortunate, resurrection that came through from Yang got Cameron back up to land a lot of free cleave damage amidst that Graviton Surge, and you said it yourself, Nolan finally making the presence with that Biotic Grenade to land a lot of anti-healing on the side of Illusions, and Zumbaroomba, without the Transcendence, did not have any burst healing available for it. And it's very unfortunate to see, because they were almost holding them so strong and for the full hold on point B, but now they have to fight against the win condition.
Now they have to make it all the way to the end. Now, their win condition now is to, or at least tie condition, to be comfortable, they have to take both points before overtime. Or they would like to have over a minute, That way they'll have enough time to attack again, while the Nolan Slippers do not. So they're going to have to attack pretty quickly, given the circumstances. They are going to be running the Death Ball with Far Mercy. Party Boy is going to come back up soon, and he and Strafology are going to go out. Probably either go around the top or around the side to get some cleave damage. Meanwhile, Weedlord is going to be on the Junkrat. So like you said before, there's no hit scan. So this is going to be very unfortunate once Party Boy rotates around with Strafology.
He's just going to kind of peek up over top of this building. You see a lot of Ferris do this instead of flying all the way around, just going immense right over top and just forcing everybody into an unadvantageous position. But the Cameron that is happy to play on his back foot finds a charge on a Jerry, but at least Party Boy to reign supreme in the sky. Damage is rocking on a Nolan.
And then a kill onto Yang Xiaolong. Nolan did get brought back up, but it's not worth it when you lose the Mercy. Yang Xiaolong gets taken down by the Pharah. Weedlord next. The Pharah is currently uncontested, just like we saw on the first round. So Illuzion, after they get a couple more picks, are going to clean up this fight. Party Boy's going to be looking to get a couple more shots on the tanks, get ultimate, so that moving on to the point B, they'll have not a lot of ultimates, but you know, some good charge going in for their next dry run.
Absolutely, yeah. Weedlord already feeling the pressure, swapping to Jesse McCree to try to shoot the wings off of Party Boy and Strafology respectively.
Which is never a situation you want to be in, because if you're switching to counter someone, you are not doing damage to the rest of their team. So this puts Party Boy in a favorable position, even if he is getting countered by Weedlord, especially with a Mercy keeping him healed up.
Absolutely, you know, get that quick Deadeye as well, and fantastic shutdown to the Valkyrie ultimate as well. But being zoned away by the frontline pressure from the Brigitte and Jerry as well, very hard to do just to find the time to shoot one simple Pharah out of the sky.
Cameron did Earth Shatter, it got blocked, but here comes the barrage. It's gonna get one, and it's gonna get two. He's gonna go down, but he's gonna get rezzed by Strafology, and this, if nothing happens from Nolan, is going to be a take of point B. There's at least a tick going towards Illusion. Cameron OP goes down, and what a staggering offense. All started with a misplay from Cameron OP, but now it's just cleanup. There's a very high charge BCJ, but this grab is gonna get them picked up so quickly, especially with Falcon damage boosting everybody. I think getting one tick of point A in 5 minutes and 47 seconds is a pretty good win condition.
Yeah, it's a nice, you know, if I've ever seen a win condition feel like a pillow full of feathers, that was definitely it right there. All things considering, you know, you start the attack of the assault map with 4 minutes, and you know, you have 1 minute and 47 seconds to play 6 DPS, so you know, you might as well do it. I'm just kidding.
Absolutely.
Don't do it.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong though, because you have 4 minutes to take 3 ticks. You have 5:47 to take 1 tick. So you could play 6 DPS for 3 minutes.
Quick maths from my play-by-play caster of Aeon. But
yep.
In the midst of it all, don't want to play too many games, because if you let the ult bank go too crazy and they store too much charge, that's how you really set up a point A full hold for these assault maps. But immense, and I'm thinking just very quickly back to the first couple of team fights of point A attack. Oh, I believe it was just one, right? And it was Cameron did get a cheeky charge, but it was really Party Boy's Pharah that reigned supreme. So Weedlord understands that, coming out on Widowmaker this time to try to keep the airspace clean of any Pharah nuttiness.
Yep, we saw McCree tried to do that earlier, but his damage fall off is just so bad, and when you factor that with the space that the tanks are creating for him, like you mentioned, as well as Mercy healing the Pharah, that's just really not going to get it done, which is why I like Weedlord being on the Widow. But the Pharah damage is already coming through. And it's going to start with Cinnamon Bot going down, so maybe Nolan Slippers are going to have a little bit of luck, especially after taking down Party Boy, to defend this for as long as they can. It's not lost for them yet.
Yep, Discord Orb and Body Shot still good to take out a Pharah. Healing not there in the meantime from Strafology, so Cinnamon Bot on the Brigitte now, trying to keep frontline pressure to find their way, but they need to get Weedlord out of the sky, or out of that high ground area, because it's just easy pickings against Party Boy. Gonna try to take a jump pad here. You can see already on the sidelines, and Cameron with another quick Earth Shatter is gonna get stuffed.
Yeah, Yeah, it's unfortunate that Cameron's Earth Shatters just never seem to work out, and it is going to punish him again as Coalescence is out as well. Illuzion is looking to fully commit to this fight. Bot does get brought back up, but here's the grab that's going to try and stop them, but where's the damage? There's nothing that happened to anyone in that grab, so Illuzion just chilled in there and are happy and alive. Cinnamon Bot's going to get a kill, and Red X now has grab, which there's really no counter to on the side of Nolan Slippers. Cinnamon Bot is going off. Meanwhile, it's looking like Red X isn't going to need to grab at all, as Cameron OP isn't able to get to the point in time, and that's going to be a pretty solid take for Illuzion.
Pretty solid take indeed, and that time bank definitely playing in the favor. Gonna have a play of the game. Go over to Zumba Roomba on that Moira. Not a lot of Moira play of the games these days, but the final flash comes through in your backline. Yeah, that's pretty scary. Oh yeah, that's not where you want to be on the opposite end of that key blast. But hey, when at the end of the day, 2-1 is up in the series for Illusions, moving into a hybrid map. Now Illusion or Nolan Slippers with their back foot against the wall. Aeon, what do they got to do?
I think they need to find a map that suits them, and then honestly, I'm not quite sure because Death Ball was their pick, and they ended up losing a Death Ball fight. We did see an adjustment to deal with the Pharah, and it worked out pretty well. Unfortunately, I think it just took much too long for that to happen. It happened round 5 with 5 minutes to defend. So I would like to see quicker adaptation from Nolan Slippers. And I would also like someone to put a leash on Cameron OP. He's a great Reinhardt, and he's doing his job, but when he has ult, it just never seems to go correctly. Someone from his team needs to call out when the team isn't there, or when they're dead, or when Moira's out of healing, because Cameron OP, even when he gets a triple shatter on the point, which is exactly what you want as Reinhardt, there's no follow-up. So someone needs to be there to communicate to Cameron why there's no follow-up.
Yep, absolutely. And when you lose your main tank, it's definitely an unfortunate situation because it puts your main healer and if on that Mercy to try to resurrect, because you know that a team fight is hard to sustain when you don't have that main tank creating the space or shielding your team from, say, a Widowmaker or a Pharah, respectively. Gonna move into the hybrid map. It's going to be King's Row. Again, same question for Nolan Slipper, as we're gonna get a color swap. Orange blue now. Believe that means that they will be attacking first or defending first, right? Yeah, they will be defending first. So shielding composition might play into their favor. It's going to be hard to say because even Party Boy does not care. Junkrat, Pharah, that does it all.
Yeah, I think if Nolan Slippers is going to start making a comeback, King's Row is the map to do it. Because while they didn't end up winning Volskaya, we saw how good their Death Ball was on Oasis, and King's Row is the classic Death Ball map. That is the map where you've always run Reinhardt, Zarya. We even saw 4 tanks last season. So I think this is the place for Nolan Slippers to dig their feet into the ground and pull out a win.
And they're going to need that win too. All things considering, Nolan Slippers, they are down in the series by 1 game. So if we are playing to the open division map and rule set, Illusions, if they are going into this game, are on the match point. You got to take King's Row, and they will win the series 3-1 Aeon. So if you're on the side of Illusions, is there anything in particular you're kind of running through your team? You know, as kind of don't fix what ain't broke coming into King's Row?
I think so. I think we saw that they had the same issue as Nolan Slippers, which was adapting to DPS, but I think they adapted very well, especially in Volskaya. They didn't adapt like hero to hero, but when they saw the Widow, they played around the Widow. As Pharah, they got better view lines. They just played safer. So now we're going to King's Row, where they should also be solid in the Death Ball compositions. This is really going to come down to mechanics and strategy. Now, I've seen Nolan Slippers run some very cheeky strategies that I think if they continue, as long as they don't go too crazy with it, could really help them win this map. Like we've seen Cameron OP get some sneaky charges here and there, flank around and try and get a shatter. If they do that with some like a leash with some strategy, it could really work out for them.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
you go
Illusion,
crazy within reason.
yeah. Meanwhile, Illusion, I think you're right. Don't fix what isn't broken. If they just play solidly, they are looking to up this game and the series.
And I think they understand that as well. You can see them hovering over in the spawn room. It's going to be Illusions attacking first. Party Boy looking to stick on that Pharah. Not something you see come out too many Kings Row, but then again, you see a lot of Widowmakers playing on defense. On the side, though, for the Slippers, coming out, hanging out here on inside the bookstore. 0 to the hero. Came in now. It's not the Doomfist.
I
Interesting.
love this. I
Oh, you
love
would.
watching Doomfist. Listen, I'm a Reinhardt main. I get it. But playing against Doomfist, that sucks. Watching Doomfist is so much fun. And it's going to be so polarizing no matter what. Now, unfortunately, Nolan is going to be a little slow coming up. And now we've got Strafology AFK. We're going to have some technical difficulties, as we are going to need a pause.
I'm gonna have to get that sweet pause in here. Have a unfortunate, just standing still Brigitte. You know, it's not really want to do when you don't have your shield available. Very unfortunate stuff thus far, but Doomfist pick didn't end up paying its dividends. You saw Zero got blasted in the mouth by the bacon grease of Red X. Fantastic stuff thus far. They're unable to deal with the Zenyatta thus far, but we're gonna get a map restart because of Strafology's botchy internet. Lol.
Yep, so
bad.
when Strafology returns, we will get that set back. Unfortunately, from my perspective, I don't think that means we're going to see a Doomfist anymore. I think Doomfist was the surprise factor that Nolan Slippers was trying to run, and now that that was kind of thrown out the window after the disconnect, I think we're going to see more standard play from Nolan, which is disappointing because, like I was saying, I think that more off-the-wall kind of strategy is very good at helping them beat more mechanically, you know, more mechanical players.
Right, exactly. You know, in Doomfist, when he doesn't have his cooldowns, it's really easy to lock down. Red X was on Roadhog, so he's just a hook away. Just gotta land a hook on that big, meaty target of Doomfist, and it's easy follow-up for your team as well. If you can't do it yourself, get your team to follow up with you and sweep that unfortunate DPS underneath King's Row rug. Doubt we'll end up seeing it again, but you never really know when we're in these scrim nights. A lot of people like to play a lot of unmeta meta heroes. I mean, I saw the season 4 May strategy the other night here on a scrim night as well for King's Row. When you see a May come out, think to yourself, oh, there's no way this can work. But then when teams forget that it's certainly a possibility, and then they continuously stall and stagger their way in, you're just like, oh wow, I can't believe that actually worked. So it's possible for an off-meta hero to make a presence on a map like this. But Doomfist, it's a little bit further out there, Aeon.
It's definitely balanced on the surprise factor. Past that, he's one of the easiest countered heroes in the game. At least Brigitte's armor can help him a little bit with that, but his big hitbox, his defenselessness when he has no cooldowns, and the fact that he just gets shot down so easily. He can move tanks around, but against other DPS, especially when it's far away, it's not really going to help out that much. He is definitely a niche hero. Now, I do love to see off-meta heroes, but like I said, it's probably not going to be Doomfist this time around.
Not at this juncture. I mean, like, you know, it would be fun, like you were saying as well. But moving back into King's Row, same stature, same exact stipulations is going to be the side of Illusions attacking first, moving into the night sky of King's Row. But
so as we move in, if as we move in, if you could just, you know, replay our audio from last time and pretend we said all of that again.
But it's not it's not without presentation. I mean, like, it's interesting to actually think about. Zero did catch us off guard. All of us, including I'm sure our producer ArkofCovenant, has been doing a fantastic job. I gotta say, big shout out to him in the back. Zero to the hero. He's gonna end up coming out on the Zarya this time. I'm sorry, I'm getting a weird buffer in my audio here. I think that I heard that ArkofCovenant really enjoys sauerkraut, and if you end up sending him any sort of gift, just make sure it's sauerkraut. Zero to the hero though on Zarya this time round. More standard stuff.
This is actually instead of Zenyatta having Illuzion, the standard comp. They have the Graviton, they have the Zarya, they have the Hanzo Dragon Strike. So this is very on meta, as opposed to what we just saw. Now, Illusion is going to be running slightly off comp. I like what they're doing with this. They're going to be running triple tank. So they're going to have the Rein and the Zarya, as well as Red X doing with the pick potential, having the hooks, doing the damage, and then they're going to have 3 healers to back that up.
Yeah, they're not necessarily changing up their composition. It's going to be that triple tank, Slambulance styles, a 3-ish tank with Brigitte Strafology coming out on that Covenant hero today. Zero the hero will be on Zarya looking for a lot of charge, but they aren't going to be giving any splash damage to bring in. Red X still looking for a...
Red X found the hammer through the wall. So they are going to move in around the statue. Illusion's going to buy themselves some time, make themselves some space before they start moving on to the point. Firestrike is going to get a couple. No Zenyatta's on both sides, so Graviton from either side will be completely devastating as they move kind of just around this point. But Strafology is going to go down first. That's going to be a charge from Cameron OP. And Nolan Slippers is starting off with a pretty solid defense. So they're going to start pushing back to spawn. And Cameron OP, right as I complimented him, ran into enemy territory. So if he survives, good on him. Otherwise, it's all his fault. But he does shatter! He just used it! Who is this man?
Just use it, and he's going to be able to get a certain amount of work done with it as well. You can see defending team still sitting up wonderfully. He's living through it as well. Zero to the hero will have the Graviton Surge, and they're going to have a Dragon Strike as well. Right next to the spawn, just waiting for all members to come out. There's it is! Here's the Galactic Dragon, and nothing you can do about it. Oh man, and Aeon, when the defending team is playing this cocky, what do you got to do?
I mean... This is just so aggressive. I think you just have to go as equally aggressive. In the replay, you see
right outside the spawn. Zero the hero spawn gate.
She was outside the door waiting. It was absolutely ludicrous. And now this has certainly slowed down Illusion's momentum. And here comes the defense. We are going to need another pause though due to some ping issues from Strafology again.
Gonna end up getting that sweet pause, but let's not blame latency for how cool that Graviton Surge was. You don't see a lot of that play coming out from a lot of Zaryas these days, and I get so excited because Zarya is making a stead line and fast pace down the road to the meta as well. And that's exactly why we're excited to see it. Graviton Surge, group hug, availability, always there when it is. You can see the replay one more time.
Yeah, but here she was just waiting.
And here we have a nice, patient Zero to the hero waiting outside the spawn door.
And it's interesting that they used Coalescence because at that point, it was over. They didn't really need to use that ult because there's nothing that can protect you from those combos. As far as Coalescence goes, Transcendence would have done it, but they didn't have that as an option.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's so unfortunate as well. Cinnamon Bot did not have anything. Even if you have a sound barrier, it's not enough to save you from the Dragon Strike as well. A Transcendence, maybe if you are lucky, but team damage is a lot, and it is certainly heightened when you have a Zero to the hero high charge like he is as well. I mean, he was almost, I believe, 80% inside that grab when he was doing damage. I was trying to calculate as well. It's just madness, too. I mean, you got to learn to try to shut down a Zarya before it is too late. And that is exactly what a decent Zarya can do, for sure.
Yep. Now, you asked me, how is Illusion...
Uh-oh. I think we lost Aeon. Well, I'm not too sure the question he was about to replicate towards myself, but oh,
possibly
wait, no,
reset the game.
totally cut out there, by the way, for like a solid like 4 seconds.
Oh, apparently my internet crashed and my game shut down, so I will be back in. But during that disconnect, I was saying, you asked me how Illusion was going to get back into it. And then my response was, I think the only way for the Illusion to break back into this is to just get out a hammer and start swinging away.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you can keep Cameron alive, that seems to be what you do. I mean, keep Cameron alive. 0 to the hero gets a lot of Zarya charge. And now you put Jerry and the rest of the members with Strafology on their back foot to try to find an answer coming in here to Kings Row. And that's not where they wanted to be up in the series of all things.
Yep, so if Illusion wants to finish this game here and now, they're going to have to start employing some more aggressive strats, as Nolan Slippers have just had their way with the team.
Gonna hope that we can, considering Strafology, especially having internet issues. Hard to play Brigitte with those ping issues, especially 68% to the Rally Ultimate before the disconnect happened, unfortunately. But in the end, Strafology, remember, is the team captain, is the tried and true. Rally is not a pun to the ultimate that Brigitte has, but is the method that I'm sure Strafology uses to keep his team under wraps, as it's going to be very hard coming in to this next attack with all the time gone, Aeon. All things considering, it might be able to get it done, but to all of our points again, not doing a decent job of shutting down a high charge Zarya thus far. And they're getting shut down left and right. I mean, they're not making their way to Yang on the Mercy. You know, they're not having an easy time with the front line because Zarya does a great job of keeping Cameron's crazy butt alive as he goes on these crazy flanking charges, fiascos that he has been doing all series long.
Yeah, I think so. I ended up talking about this before, and it's exactly what happened. So they tried the Doomfist. The game restarted. So they ended up with a standard comp doing off-the-wall random things, like Zarya standing right outside the doorway. So I think this is exactly how they need to be playing. And now the game has restarted, and some awkward situations as Illusion is standing in the back corner right outside their door. First turn does come out, though. That's going to start things off pretty strong. Now Jerry is going to charge in here, swatting left and right. And all right, they're just going to take this.
We're going to go ahead and take that because they were ending up, they got the resume at the beginning of that, and very unfortunate stuff. But going to end up getting the point at the end of a very long pause, and they're going to unlock the payload here. Aeon, Cinnamon going to go ahead and take that nice surf and escape. But in the end, not all the time that they wanted. Strafology would be 70% to the Coalescence, came back in on the White Room.
Now the defense is being a little bit aggressive as they brought Nolan back up and got to pick up their own. 0 to hero is getting some charge, only 60%, but still pretty big. Cinnamon Bot does go down, and 0 to hero is looking for another grab. 85%, just a little bit away. They might continue to be super aggressive with this, and here it is. There's a grab, but the dragons, like you said, the steel barriers are not going to keep you alive through that. And this is going to be punishment for the hubris of Nolan Slippers, as they were pushed out a little bit too far.
Pushed out a little bit too far, and unfortunate because it's going to be Zumbaruba just walking in with the grab that came up on top. I mean, 0 to the hero did use that grab as well, but the Dragon Strike that came late from Party Boy just to kill off the Mercy of Yang. I mean, you gotta feel pretty nice about that. But
a good hook onto Cameron OP. That's gonna start the fight. Looking pretty good for Illusion.
Pretty good, never in the end. I mean, I gotta say again, I mean, you gotta feel pretty good if you got so ulted like that, but you gotta feel pretty bad at the same time. I mean, you're just like, man, I can't believe that just happened. You can see the resurrection coming from Yang. It's going to be able to set them back up with the man advantage here on the point behind the rally.
And now Jerry does have a shatter again. It does come down. It gets a bunch. That's a quad shatter. but the follow-up isn't here yet. Nolan does go down. Weedlord now. So now the kills are coming through, and Illuzion just needs to pick up a few more in order to make this a successful push. But a grab is going to hold them together. Bot's going to go down. But Cameron OP, too far into enemy territory, again, is going to be taken out. So after all these picks going left and right, Illuzion is looking to finish this off. And Dragons are going to zone off the enemy team to make sure that Nolan can't get there.
Dragon Strike's gonna find Yang again, and that's gotta be feeling bad at the end of that. I mean, it wasn't a solo that time, Yang, but you know, you died to the Dragon Strike, you passed 2 deaths, and man, I just feel for you, brother.
It does speak to how fast the Dragon Strike is coming out. The fact that Party Boy is getting that ult so quickly, possibly due to the fact that he is fighting 3 tanks. One of them does not have any kind of protection. And now we see Party Boy still continuing just to charge ults. But he does need to get healed up.
It's gonna be pretty old. He's gotta charge some health first, where he charges more ultimate. He's getting pretty cheap there. In the end, gonna be waiting for Zumba Roomba to get another grab before Dragon Strike will be most optimal. 0 to the hero, only 40% to the grab. The BCJ might use the defense or the attacking grab or Dragon Strike rather. Defensive, God, tripping over my words. Just to keep his Reinhardt alive thus further because Cameron OP went in too deep and too aggressive again and will pay for it.
Defensive, offensive, maybe just zoning. Something needs to happen from Nolan.
There's zone and space somewhere happening right now, Aeon. I just don't know where.
Now, Cameron OP with a big shatter, killed Jerry upon impact, got 3 more with a fire strike onto Party Boy. They are going to clean this up and only have 2 minutes left to defend. This is very doable, especially now that they do have the Grav and Dragon combo, but so does Illuzion. This might be a situation where both teams get grabbed at the same time. There's both dragons, and just everyone dies. This might be a double team kill if things go wildly enough. And here they are.
Piling up of Galactic Dragons. Oh, it's crazy stuff. But it ends up being the attacking or the defending team that comes out on top of the Galactic Dragon Strike. And of the ult bank favor will still be in the favor for Strafology and Illusions, as they will have 2 support ultimates walking in. They just have to get through the armor of Nolan. You can see trying to regroup his team for the buff.
And here it comes. Meanwhile, the tanks of Nolan do have to back up a little bit, especially now that Cole is coming out. They'll have to hide around the corner. Only ult coming up right now is Earth Shatter, but they do have the armor from Nolan. And a charge is going to come in. Unfortunately, the barrier kept him alive, and now Cameron's in the pit. That's another hook from X. They do have the grab, but there's nothing to combo with it now that Cameron OP is dead. There is a hunt of it back line.
Party like a damn Christmas tree.
But big shatter, as well as the whole hog. They're gonna push the enemy team all the way back. Yang Xiaolong is going to get away with her life, but Red X gets bumped into the pit. And only one person on the payload. It didn't get as far as it could have. Meanwhile, Cameron OP is ready for a cheeky shatter. But he gets bumped. That's super unfortunate. And such good awareness from Bot, who does take a fire strike for his troubles. Cameron OP, though, again, is all the way in the back. He is just so aggressive. But his team is allowing him to do it. The Valkyrie is keeping him alive. He's swinging around. BCJ gets Strafology. Dragon Strike is out. It's going to get Zumba, and only 10 seconds left. This is going to be a cleanup. And it's unlikely that anyone from Illuzion will be able to get back to the point in time.
Yeah, Nolan setting up his team wonderfully there for this defense, and like you said, Strafology using the Kamehameha Wave, not for speed, it is made for indeed. Thanks to that overtime proccing ability, but Nolan with the Brigitte able to sustain his team to the maximum with the armor, keeping his tanks a little bit more alive. You know, I say a little bit more because Cameron's always so darn aggressive, but I mean, 0 to the hero was always so high charge that it was just so difficult for any tank on the side of Illusions to find presence on or around the payload.
Yeah, Zarya with full charge does double damage. That's an absolute massive amount coming from a tank. So it's just such an oppressive force. Throw in Graviton on that, and the defensive options of bubbling Zarya or a teammate. Zarya is, while one of the hardest tanks or characters in Overwatch to play, one of the most effective, especially in this meta.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, to keep your shield tanks enabled that much further so that way they can get a couple cleave hits here and there really spells the turning tides of a team fight for yours if you have a Zarya that comes in with those clutch bubbles.
Now Illusion's coming out with their defense, and I'm not sure I like it. They're gonna be running the ball and chain with triple support and one Hanzo. I feel like this would only really work with Zarya's Graviton. I'm not sure what they're gonna be using. So I'd like to know your thoughts.
Well, the ball and chain, it worked really well with them. You go all the way back to Junkertown, and it is what they did that full hold with, so maybe they're trying to recreate that magic with Cinnamon Bot on the Brigitte as well. The only thing that concerns me, though, Aeon, is that Yang's going to come out with the Widowmaker, and Zumba Roomba is going to have to play very, very scared, like a Zumba just doing circles inside a broom closet in the dark.
Well, that was just a pre-throw. Yang is Mercy. She will not be sniping anyone today, but they do have the BCJ.
Oh.
So that will be a sniper on the side of Nolan Slippers.
Same diff. You know, they're different weapon, a little bit more primitive with bow and arrow, but you know, at the end of the day, you gotta be careful.
And Cameron OP is already going in. He already has a third of his ult. He needs to get healed up, but he's going in anyway.
Yeah, that sounds like Cameron's gonna go in anyway. He's gonna get the pin too. Good lord. That is a confident Reinhardt if I've ever seen one. And Cameron OP finding the space for his team just so Zero the Hero can find all the charge. Look at him just march his way through the with members are left of Illuzion.
He's just swinging around. He ended up getting a fire strike on his Zenyatta. He couldn't even see. The prediction is unreal. He's got Shatter. BCJ has Dragon Strike. They're looking pretty set to go through the second phase. It's not a Graviton Dragon Strike, but that might as well be a combo. And we do see Cameron OP getting some nice, cheeky positioning as his team pushes the payload.
He's already on the flank over there, hanging out towards the subway, looking to see if anybody comes to try to flank him himself. But it's going to be the other side from Illusions that come up with the upper hand. Cinnamon Bob with a clutch entry frag on a Relord, and that sets up Party Boy wonderfully to stay alive through the Dragon Strike and create a presence on the point. So now Cameron OP stuck over on his flank, and that's going to be pretty dangerous for the side of Illusions if they don't find him, because he can still flank around and get a very clutch Earth Shatter.
Now his team isn't going to have Dragon Strikes though. Earthstar does come out. Jerry is still standing, but Red X does go down. Brigitte is looking to go down next. Jerry actually threw out the Fortify, goes down. Cinnamon Bot does have the rally, but is not going to live for much longer. And now Nolan Slippers is going to continue pushing forward. Another good cheeky strategy. Caught Illusion by surprise. Sometimes the best Reinhardt is a flanking Reinhardt. As he moves even further, he kills Strafology. What a good stagger. 83% towards ult. He's looking to get even more before he dies. Maybe not, because he's going to get set up with a Graviton. He is going to go down in the end, but that's so many ults that were forced out of Illusion, not even on the second phase.
Yep, but they're not going to be able to capture point B to see point C as well, and that's really what Cameron and Zero wanted. But they used the grab as well, and now the BCJ will have the Dragon Strike. Whoa, what a headshot onto the Party Boy, a parting gift onto your adversary of Hanzo. So that's going to set up Nolan Slippers to walk back in here with the Dragon Strike and the rally from Nolan as well. You can see backside trying
they
to get
still
the
have
angle.
4 other ults. They can come in with Valk, they can have the Blaze. Not sure where those dragons were aimed, but in any case, the fight is commencing. BCJ got hooked, it does go down. Supercharger is out, but so is Valkyrie, so that's damage going to everybody. Rez does come out onto BCJ, so they will have that damage again, but the fight is so spread out. But Nolan is getting all the damage done, all the finishing blows, and with Rally to boot, they could more than commit to this fight if they so want to. But it doesn't seem that they do.
Probably just waiting for the Valkyrie to end though, but Nolan will fall. It comes down to the BCJ to lane all these headshots, 2 headshots within the use of one Storm Arrow cooldown. They were going clutch on trying to keep Hanzo alive. 11 HP, now he will fall to the vaporetic arm of Moira. Unfortunate stuff, but Cameron gave himself more than enough time to come back to the point, and that is all you needed, folks. Just a very angry German man with a very angry Russian friend to kill off the enemy team. And Cameron OP and Zero the Hero together, clutching the front line, will capitalize and capture B.
The final point is not very far away. It's only about half of phase 3. And with some ults, they could close it out here and now.
Yeah, Nolan already used the rally.
Oh no!
Oh, what a nice hold! Nice hold from Jerry to pull Zero off the side and use the Graviton Surge as well.
this just threw up 2 big wrenches in Nolan Slipper's plans. Both tanks just going right into the pit. They're gonna need to go back to the drawing board. And they committed basically all of their ults. They still have sound barrier, but the ult economy just switched right from Nolan's to Illusion.
Just like that too. I mean, Jerry did use the Earth Shatter, but he was so happy to do it as well. I mean, we got the rally, the grab, and the Dragon Strike, the wombo combo up and out of Nolan Slipper's pockets. Fantastic stuff.
But they still have 3 minutes, and Jerry is half health, so if they push into this, they should have a good chance. Jerry is about to go down, and Earthshatter's about to come out from Cameron, but Transcendence is out. Earthshatter's anyway, Dragon Strike is out as well, and the picks are happening. And now Cameron can really just go ham. He spotted Party Boy, a very low health, but he's still making space as...
Nobody's going to be able to get to the point though, Aeon.
Exactly. Hanzo can't get to it because he's being sectioned off by Cameron, and poor Moira couldn't get there in time.
Yep, Fate ability not off cooldown quite yet, and we find ourselves going up 2-2 in this series. Party Boy with the play of the game.
And here's one of the combos. This is actually one of the double combos where both grabs were out, but Dragons ended up definitely in Illusion's favor.
Yeah, I mean, Party Boy was really making his presence known in those team fights, both with the Dragon Strike and grab combo and without as well. Fantastic stuff coming out of both of these teams as we move into a map 5. We're going back to control.
Yeah, this is definitely, as I said before, the map for Nolan Slippers to break back into it, and I think this must be their favorite map because they just had such a good time with it. They were so aggressive in their defense, they were very solid in their offense, that we really got to see their death ball strategy come right into play.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Storm Hanzo 2.0 making the presence known across the series itself and across all metas in between. I mean, I haven't really seen Storm Hanzo not played in any single composition to boot as well, but the control point is set. We are moving into Ilios. Aeon, what do both teams really have to do to make sure that they come out of here with a win? Because Nolan, they won the first and the last, but Illusions, they did win 2 in a row.
Yeah, and honestly, I think this is a map that favors Illusion. This is not a deathball-oriented map at all. Ruins might be, but even then, you need to be running the Widowmaker. We're going to be starting on the Well, which is such a jank kind of Roadhog Orisa strategy that we saw already played by Illusion when that wasn't even a strategy. And the third point is Lighthouse, where you can get away with deathball. But there's still a lot of that open area. There's pits for people to get pushed off of that I think have been favoring Illusion much more than Nolan Slippers, especially given that double boop on King's Row.
Oh, absolutely. And Well might play into that favor as well. Party Boy already hovering over top of the ferret, already inching, because you know that it's good on Lighthouse and Well, both Concussive Blast and Rockets themselves to keep your Mercy alive. Brigitte also with the flail ability, fantastic to get those cheeky boops into the Well and off the sides of Ilios. Don't want to take a dive into these oceans of Greece, not on this map. It's not your summer vacation, not quite yet.
Now, on the side of Nolan Slippers, we're going to see that they are not running a Pharah. They are going to have BCJ on the Soldier, which means that he's going to be spending most of his time trying to counter Party Boy. Meanwhile, Party Boy is just going to have free reign, especially with the Mercy healing and damage boosting him. So this already puts Nolan Slippers at a disadvantage unless BCJ can, with a damage boost, get Pharah down immediately and make sure she doesn't get resurrected. Now, they are going to have Roadhog, but they're not going to have Orisa. They will have the Reinhardt to at least give them some space.
Very interesting stuff. Probably a little bit more comfort than anything. The BCJ is going to have work cut out for him because he doesn't have a Zenyatta to the Discord or to try to whittle Pharah out of the sky. And like you said, a little bit of free reign. The BCJ, again, has a lot of work cut out for him to land these shots on these Pharah.
And here we see the shield war already being lost for Nolan Slippers. They're running a Reinhardt instead of the Orisa. And with Reinhardt's shield down, he can just throw out another one. This is going to give Jerry a lot more space. But he's gone! Cameron went in and charged him. Red X got hooked into the pit, despite the fact that Party Boy got a pick onto Cameron. The point is going to go right up to Nolan Slippers, but maybe not for long.
Oh, a cheeky halt onto the BCJ is going to give the Party Boy even more supremacy onto this point as well. No Resurrection is going to be able to come through, and Tinnitus spread over to Nolan. You didn't bring your sound-canceling headphones, forget to Grease. Very unfortunate stuff, and this should be a quick flip for the
But
side.
Zero to Hero had ult and was able to get a pick. Didn't end up getting that hook, but he's still just living on this point for so long. He will eventually go down, but 30% off of one push is very solid.
Absolutely, and you can see the Red X again getting the hook onto Cameron as well for the final kill. BCJ is going to end up killing Party Boy, but not being able to punish Straightology for the resurrection is going to be feeling bad about that. But at least that's going to be out of the way for the next 30 seconds, but they got to deal with this angry bacon beast of Red X. Good lord, he's going crazy.
Yep, and now Party Boy has Barrage, so if he doesn't get taken out by the BCJ again, it's going to be bad news for the rest of his team. Meanwhile, Rez is, as always, coming back up off of cooldown, and the tanks on the side of Nolan Slippers don't really know what to do. Well, a hook onto Party Boy is pretty good, but the Reinhardt just doesn't know where to stand so that he doesn't get booped into the pit with a concussive blast behind his shield. Soldier, BCJ is trying to take Party Boy down, but the damage fall off is keeping him alive. And Party Boy does find an ult onto an ulting BCJ, so that's not going to be an option. No visor today. Strafology does go down though, but a hold onto Cameron OP is going to set up for a longer hold from Illuzion.
Yep, and that's going to set them up once. I mean, we did come back out on the Ana with a little bit more of a 2 style, but another hit scan nevertheless. Tracking the Party Boy will do just that. And that's going to set up Zero to land the hook on the Red X as well and pull out the Bongo Supercharger in the hold from Jerry to find Nolan. He's been good finding these halts left and right, Aeon.
Yeah, he's been having so much luck playing this mini game. Oh, almost saves Zero. But does get the halt into the pit nonetheless, possibly just stealing the kill from Lucio. The shield that allows him to have that space and the right clicks that he's getting are just so valuable, and make me wonder why it took this long for Cameron OP to switch to his own Orisa.
Probably the mental games being a little bit more than anything. Trying to land the halts into the well is a little bit more of an adaptation strike than it is anything. You can see comfort for Jerry being on that hero. And Nolan, with the rally available, gonna be able to get there. Oh, the direct rocket from Party Boy and Yang while he's in the well, just trying to stay away from that rocket.
Lucio Zero goes down as well to a whole hog. Oh, and Nolan's gonna go down as well. That's no healing at all on the side of Nolan's. Red X is gonna get healed up. A res is gonna come out. End up getting interrupted, but still, all there needs to be is clean up from Illuzion. BCJ's ult got shut right down, and despite the fact that Cameron was there, wasn't able to get on the point in time. And now we all jump into the pit because that's what we do.
That's what we do on well. I mean, when you sit there as Jerry and you don't die the entire time on that entire phase, besides that one team fight, yeah, I would jump down the well and just like, hey, this is all I need to happen. I put so many halts down here. I want to see what this feels like. But you know, we're gonna move towards Lighthouse though, so no snipe opportunities thus far on Ilios, and that's gonna be in the favor for Party Boy. Gets to stay on fair for longer.
Now, I want to go back to the halts in the pit, because can you imagine how terrifying it would be if the bodies just stacked up in there?
I try not to think about that late tonight.
4, 3,
But we are going to have Wheeler still on the Ana. Zero to Hero, guess who he's playing? He's got the Doom Fist. He's going to be going in. Unfortunate, though, because Party Boy is still on the Pharah, so I'm not sure what the strategy is here. BCJ is on the Tracer, so really nothing to go up and fight Party Boy. But maybe Zero to Hero is looking to just cause some problems, as Jerry's already down, already obliterated. Cinnamon Pot's next. Maybe they can just ignore the Pharah, as Zero to Hero is causing so much trouble. Red X goes down thanks to a charge and some punches. That's going to be a very clean fight, and it's going to be an easy take.
Yeah, I mean, BCJ and Zero to the Hero catching the entire team of Illusions off guard. Between the pulse pistols from Tracer, easy follow-up from the punches of Doomfist, overwhelming factor. I mean, we know Cameron is a very aggressive Reinhardt, so this kind of plays into his, you know, what he wants from his team. Follow up with him quickly onto the aggression. But Zubaruba, spot on the Tracer, is gonna find the BZJ quickly.
And there's a Pharah around the side. Party Boy's getting good angles on the point. And now just out of the woodwork, Illusion Ace here, but Jerry goes down again. He's died so consistently this map. Cameron OP also with ult, and he's the one to kill the Pharah, who gets so low that that's just an option. Cinnamon Bot does get bubbled, so he doesn't get killed, and Pharah gets brought back up. So while they were in the lead, it does look like Nolan Slippers are going to get pushed around and taken down for an Illusion cap after everything.
Cheeky pulse bomb onto the Doomfist as he was punching Zumba into the wall as well. But that's got to be worth it considering you just got the point back as well. And Jerry with a fade away on the way out as well. They're going to have Party Boys Drag or Bear Barrage. So they're probably going to be waiting for Red X Graviton Surge, which will be coming up in the next 30 seconds or so to land a Wombo combo within their own cells. But with a nice cheeky entry frag onto Cinnamon Bot, that could be what the side of Slippers needs.
Especially with BCJ back up. Weaklord did go down, having switched to the 3rd DPS, but the presence is here from Nolan Slippers. This is such a bad place for Party Boy to be because the ceiling's so low that even Cameron can swing away, and he's going to take Surfology down as well. Cinnamon Bot's going to get chased out, and they're going to recap before Illusion's even able to even out the percents. Yang Jialong, though, does get taken down by Zumba Roomba before she leaves the point. So this could be setting up for a retake if Yang can't get there in time.
Yeah, it just comes down to, I mean, Illusions, they just need to get there quickly. But on the side, Weedlord's not going to pick up his Mercy as well, so this may be the opportunity. The BCJ to kill the Zoom Roomba, though, might split the tides in their favor.
Well, but Party Boy
Oh, big pulse bomb.
Pulse bomb. I was going to say Party Boy got 2, but so did BCJ with 1 ult. But Party Boy's exerting point presence and does have Barrage, but it doesn't matter. No one's going to shut that right down. 81%. Only 1 chance left. And honestly, we're about to see an Ultapalooza. But Cameron OP is ready. He has the positioning. He's got the shatter. This is what Nolan Slippers are good at today. That is getting the cheeky positioning. And you can hear the Reinhardt coming. Jerry doesn't know what's about to hit him. And that's because he just went right onto the point. But here's the shatter. It got him. And with Transcendence out, Jerry down. This is going to be a cleanup from Nolan's.
Oh my goodness. The biggest group hug you'll ever see on Lighthouse for Ilios. And the Fair Barrage from Party Boy. Look at this replay. That is such a big Graviton Surge. And no Nolan's Transcendence is going to do anything about that. Good lord.
Especially because he had used it already, so it was at the tail end of Transcendence, meaning that even if it was healing, it was going to run out by the time Barrage was halfway through, so it worked out perfectly.
Oh my God.
They didn't even commit everything. They still have 2, almost 4 ultimates. So they're looking to hold on to this for a little bit longer. Though there is a McCree causing Party Boy some problems. Cameron on top, or Cameron OP now is on hit scan instead of tank. And with Far down and Strafology down, it's definitely working out. This is gonna be a very decided fight. The tank switching to DPS.
Well, they don't even have a tank on the side of Nolan Slippers.
You're right.
And just by doing so, they have so much immense pressure and 100% burst potential that just like that they take the point back. And now we have a certain map within the series game in map 5 going all the way to the distance Aeon. We're going to Ruins. Will we see a Widowmaker play come out, and will it come up short? Only time will tell, as it's match point for both these teams now.
I mean, this has to be a Widow map. We already see Zero switching. Zumba Roomba, we saw absolutely devastating as Widowmaker on Jungertown. So this is going to decide who wins the set. That's just a lot of pressure on both Zumba and Zero. So hopefully they don't crack under it. Meanwhile, I don't know what No One's is doing, because they have two main tanks, a Death Ball and a Dive. Maybe this is to cause some trouble for Zumba, but they're gonna run this anyway. That's not a lot of damage given that they have no off tanks. Now Zero is actually gonna be 1v2ing, as not only does he have to
kind of cut out just there for a second. One more time, my friend. But yeah, I mean, you can see the dive will come through. It's gonna be a little bit short from Zumba. Zumba's going to be short. Gonna need a little bit more healing, but the frontline pressure is being too much. And it's gonna lead to free resurrection, never in the end. And Zero to the hero landing the headshot on the Party Boy, shooting the Pharah out of the sky. But it's not gonna stop the pressure from Jerry on the point. by way of Red X. Fantastic bubble. Big charge coming through. 8% already for the first team fight one for Illusions, and they're going to have it. Well, the Earth Shatter did come through. Unfortunate to say that it's not going to get any follow-up. Jerry this time. Shatter, no follow-up. And now it's going to be Weedlord making his presence known. Big angry Winston on the point. Can't reflect that party boy. Swap to Genji just to dash in and die on the point, but 24% off that first push. Fantastic, never in the end. And you can see BCJ ending up swapping for the Tracer this time around, getting a lot of good frontline pressure off. Comes down to 0 to the hero, staying on this Widowmaker and really zoning out due to the Roomba. It's pretty interesting though, considering the position that they are willing to take for the side of Nolan Slippers. On the side for the side of Illusions, rather, they are more than happy to take this team fight so close to them. On for the side of Cameron OP and Nolan Slipper, on the other hand, with that Shatter, going to initiate the brawl, and it's a Widow v Widow battle that's going to turn the tide. Illusions trying to make their presence known. They just have to get through a Primal Raging Winston. Half the control meter will be flipping to the point that the Resurrection still being able to come through for Yang.
And still unpunished. Yang actually got away with that. And they're actually going to hold this point for even longer. Illusion is going to continue fighting for the point, and Nolan's is going to continue getting more percentage. But this grab is going to shut things down, and that's a bunch of Lucio kills more than anything else.
Bunch of Lucio kills coming through, but never in the end. Party Boy was still able to pull out the Dragon Boy. He's going to be able to find two. Both Weedlord and Yang are down. A main tank and main healer up out of the way, but it's not going to be able to stop Cameron anytime soon. And by this point, Nolan Slippers are still getting control meter Aeon, and Party Boy with 1 HP left, still unable to deal with BCJ and Cameron to charge
and
on a Jerry.
Somehow Cameron OP not only lived that, but got kills and let his team get some kills, and he killed Zumba. The Reinhardt got the Widow.
Cameron is coming to life on Ruins here. He's going to take the charge. He knows this is going to be the last fight. He gets stun blocked in between both Reinhardts now being met eye to eye. They're going to be able to proc overtime, but Party Boy will not live for long against Weedlord. Both the tanks doing exactly what they need to do, charging back out to the point. He's going to find another one. Cinnamon bot down against the wall. Cameron OP coming back to so live.
Trying to get to it, but they can't. He gets denied, and this is going to be a Nolan Slippers win after one of the most bizarre Game 5s I've ever seen.
Bizarre Game 5 indeed. Both main tanks coming out to play, or 2 of the 3 main tanks. I'm still getting used to that, as you can see. Coming out to play. The play of the game coming through from Party Boy, taking the cheeky, waiting for the Graviton Surge. God, what a cool angle. What a nice barrage, and such patience from Illusions coming out in for Lighthouse, but they fell up short in this series. Unfortunate that not even reverse sweep, that immense series. Aeon really pushed to the brink, and it's going to be Nolan Slippers that come up 3-2 in this Scrim night.
Yeah, honestly, I'm a little surprised. That being said, both teams did perform very well. If there's anything to work on, I'm not really sure if there's anything in particular. Both teams were just so evenly matched that it came down to maps and whatever comps were better. But even then, Nolan Slippers, their forte is being unpredictable. They tried to play meta, and that's what ended up losing. When they lost their games, they just didn't know what to do on Junkertown. Volskaya didn't work out because they were doing the mirror comp. But whenever they went all to the wall, kind of just ridiculous, they really came out on top. Their strategies on King's Row, their no tank comp on Ilios, followed by their Reinhardt Winston comp, that can get you pretty far, and I think we absolutely saw that in their fight against Illusion.
Absolutely. I mean, when you take both main tanks and you let Cameron OP do what Cameron OP has been doing all series long, you saw it come to life on King's Row and Ilios especially, going huge with the cleave damage on Reinhardt. The most aggressive Reinhardt of 2018 definitely goes out to Cameron OP, but somehow still making it work behind 0 to the hero with Zarya, and then with Weedlord swapping to Winston later on in the night.
Yeah, I think that is one of the problems we saw before, is that I was saying that Cameron OP was too aggressive, But as soon as Zero got back onto the roster, it was perfect. So I think he was just waiting for his favorite Zarya to help him with that aggression.
Absolutely. And with that, I believe, I mean, I'm good on any closing remarks. You got anything else left for it?
I just hope to see both of these teams again.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I definitely want to see Illusions and Nolan Slippers push each other to the brink. I always love when games have a legitimate map 5 and winning scenarios playing across the board. Really sets up the narrative well for the casting experience. But at the end of the day, as it is over here on the Eastern side, 11 p.m. exactly, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, at this Broadcast.gg production of these Scrim Nights, it's always fantastic when we get to see these two high-end teams push each other to the brink. A lot of good Overwatch is what we're all about. And if you ever like to join us or be a part of the broadcast action, production, or anywhere else in between, we even have a channel for weebs like me. Come check us out. Click on the link below. Follow our Twitter so that way you can follow all of our coverage. The final couple weeks coming through for Open Division, you'll see casters such as myself, and on these Scrim Nights, you'll see more of Aeon as well. And our beautiful producer, though you won't be able to see his camera today, maybe later on in the weekend as well, ArkofCovenant doing a fantastic job giving us all of these fantastic highlights of really nutty plays and fireworks popping off left and right on these maps. My name's Pokemon Panda, co-caster with Aeon tonight. Thank you so much and have a good evening.